Well, welcome back to the main stage. My name is Mark Belache. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. Thanks very much for being on here today. Hopefully you've been able to network with a few people on the event. I've had a chance to connect with a couple of people in the networking area already. Really great to connect. Glad for all of you to be on here, and hopefully you've already learned a few things. So I am now very excited to be joined by Willow Iorga, who's employment instructor at YES program, YESS program, Regina Open Door Society in Regina, Saskatchewan. Yahoo! All right. So thanks very much, Willow, for being on.
Thanks for having me.
So we're going to spend the next half hour or so talking about your program and what you do and how you can help people who are either not yet here in Canada or people that are already here and finding their way around. So maybe you can start by just introducing yourself, kind of talk a little bit about what you do, kind of people that you help, the programs that you're involved with, and whatever you'd like to introduce yourself with.
Okay, my name is Willow Iorga. I have been working in the nonprofit sector this is the 5th year now. I started out teaching English and then I moved into employment-focused programming. So the program that I'm in now, we have a classroom-based portion and then a work placement-based portion. So a lot of the programming for newcomers will combine a classroom part with a work placement part. A lot of newcomers come into the issue when they come to Canada that they don't have any Canadian work experience, they don't have any Canadian references, and the workplace culture is very different. So these programs kind of bridge that gap. What else? So I'm currently doing my master's degree in instruction, and yeah.
Terrific. So people, and you're there full time. You're in Regina. Do you cover just Regina, the city, or is this across Canada that you can help people, or just through Saskatchewan, or?
So the program so the settlement agency that I work in, there's some programs that are funded provincially and some that are funded federally. So the program that I'm in specifically is a federal program and it runs all across Canada, but it would look different in different places. So my particular program, I only serve people in the Regina area. Okay. But it does exist all across Canada.
Right. And for those that don't know, YES, YESS stands for Youth Employment and Skills Strategy Program, right?
Yeah. So we serve newcomers between the ages of 15 and 30. We take them into the program and we do a lot of employment-focused skills development, career exploration, career action planning, and then we combine that with work placements in the community. So we will, after the classroom portion, we will set up work placements with local organizations and employers in order for people to gain Canadian work experience, to gain Canadian references, and to just kind of be able to network and break into the labor market here in a new city, a new country.
Excellent. And if someone is outside of that, the 15 to 30 youth, right? That's the target.
Yes. Yeah, that is my specific program, but we have other programs where I work that serve just 18 and over, or we have like several different programs based on the different needs of clients. So we do have another one that's very similar to my program. It's called Career Bridging, and that's for anyone 18 and up with basically the same structure as my program, just without the age requirements. And then we have other ones based on kind of skills. So what kind of, if you have a professional background, there's kind of different programs, whereas if you're looking for a more kind of entry level job, so there's all sorts of different programs based on needs.
So if I'm coming and I'm landed in I don't know, Nova Scotia, Halifax, what website should I go to? Like if obviously if they're in Regina, then they can go to you. But where can they go? Is there a website that you would recommend people to go to?
Well, you can go to the Job Bank website. Canada Job Bank, but basically every city across Canada would have settlement agencies. So if you just Google settlement agency Halifax, something would come up. So these are all kind of funded by the government of Canada or by the provincial governments, but they're all kind of independent, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And Job Bank, I know for those that don't know the Job Bank, I think it's jobbank.gc. What can you just let people know?
Yeah, so it's jobbank.gc.ca, I think.
Yes.
And I love this website. It is so great, and it shows you by region, by province, what the so you can search your occupation. It will tell you what the requirements to work in that occupation are. It will tell you the salary outlook. It'll tell you the job projections. And then it will also give you the postings for that job in that area. So it'll also show you openings that might exist in that occupation. And yeah, it's a really great website.
Excellent. And what other government programs might be available to, let's break it down into, let's start with people that are here, and then we'll talk about people who are not yet in Canada.
Okay, so there's a pre-arrival program called SOPA, and this one is a federal program as well. We have a SOPA department with my settlement agency, but this is all across Canada, and so that is for before coming. And you can register with SOPA and they will help you get started. If your occupation is regulated in Canada, they'll help you get started registering with that regulatory body. They'll help you get started with getting your transcripts, getting a WES assessment. And then they also offer different workshops like resume development and stuff, because resumes can be very different from one country to the next based on what that workplace culture is, or what like resumes are different for every country. So going into one of these pre-arrival programs like SOPA is so beneficial to being ready and just having being in such a better position when you get here. So I definitely recommend one of those. Then after that, there are English language programs. So LINK is an English language program that it's federal, so it's all across Canada again. So if you need to kind of increase your English language skills before you can come into the labor market, or just brush up on them, you can access LINK, which is a free English language program that goes all across Canada. And then there's programs like YES, which also run all across Canada, which is a youth employment program. Then by province, there will be different provincial employment programs in each province for newcomers, so those would differ. But pretty much every province has different provincially funded employment programs at the settlement agencies for newcomers to help newcomers, transition into the labor market here in Canada.
Excellent. And SOPA is Settlement Online Pre-Arrival, right? SOPA?
SOPA, yeah, SOPA. It's a really great program, yeah.
Excellent. So maybe you can walk people through, so I come to you, I say, I've just arrived in Canada. I need some help. Like, kind of maybe walk people through, like, how long would the program be? Is it meeting once a week? Is it open now or not open because of COVID? Are they assigned to one person in particular? Is it,
okay.
Walk through all what happens.
Yeah, so I'm just a small part of my department. So we offer employment services. So when you come in, you would come in and register with my department. And then from there, you would be assigned to an employment counselor. So the employment counselor would help you set up a career action plan and then possibly suggest that you enroll in different programs that we have. So we have programs that are like mine, where it's a classroom program that is combined with a work placement program, or we have very short-term programs that are like resume workshops, cover letter workshops, computer skills. Those are kind of week-long programs. All of our services since March have been online. So I'm teaching through Google Classroom and Zoom, and I have been since March. our work placements are still, for the most part, in person. So my classroom-based programming runs Monday to Friday for 8 weeks long. And we go really in depth into like all sorts of employment-focused topics. So we talk about the employment standards here, the regulations, the human rights code. We talk about resume, cover letter, interview skills. We talk about Canadian workplace culture. We get really into all of this content, and then they go out and do the work placement. So that part has all been online. And I really like teaching online. I think it actually allows us to do so many different things. Right now, we've been able to do the Canadian Occupational Health and Safety has opened up all these certificates during the pandemic and made them free. So we've been doing so many online certifications, and it just really opens up the technology we can use in the class. So I really like teaching online.
Terrific. Well, so we have just been joined. I want to welcome a new panelist as well. And just if you are just joining, my name is Mark Belaish. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. I'm having a panel here for the next 20 minutes or so. Have been speaking with Willow Iorga, employment instructor at YESS program in Regina, Saskatchewan, with Regina Open Door Society. And I'd now like to welcome Dr. Roohullah Shabon, professor at Seneca College, mentor at Toronto Region Employment Council, or TRIEC, TRIEC. Thanks very much for being on here. Sorry for the technical issues that we had.
I am lucky that there was a video frozen, so I just took your advice and came back, refresh the whole thing. So yes, is it to introduce myself?
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so in a simple, I'm a background education. I'm a teacher, a medical doctor, and also a social worker, psychology, my background, and done a lot of public health, master in public health. So, I think all my experiences as in the area of immigrant and refugee, because I started to be a refugee myself for 12 years. And then I started working with refugee on that camp, and WHO, United Nations, what they call it, headhunted me to take me around the world. So I went to 20 countries working with the migrant and refugee and supporting them, their programs. And then I came to Canada as a refugee myself again. And so on that time was independent migrant. So I came here and then continued working in Washington, D.C. and cross-border operation in Canada. And after that, I was joined by, I started working with Seneca for the last 10 years as a professor. And again, with the migrant and refugee program, which is a very specialized program, and training students, graduating students who are highly skilled in the area of working with a migrant and refugee, and they're very much equipped with an anti-oppression approach and also cultural conscious and intersectionality and strength-based approach. So they will be working with a migrant and refugee, and majority of them hired on this settlement agency, and they are also training other agencies. And also for the last 3 years, I'm working in TRIEC, which is every 3 months, they gave me one highly skilled, highly educated newcomers to help them to settle in Canada and get a job, employment. So I am doing that. And so whatever I will share with you is based on those experiences from my start. And working with the migrant, marginalized people is my passion beside my profession. So that's what I'm.
Excellent. Well, thanks very much for being on. So Dr. Roohullah, because I was speaking with Willow for a little while there, maybe what would your tips be for someone who's a Canadian immigrant, somebody new to Canada, or somebody looking to move to Canada? What would your suggestions be? What things should they not do? Maybe you can share from your experience, from what you see, from the course that you're through TRIEC, for example.
Yeah. I would say I will divide it into 3 stages, what to do first. I think pre-arrival time, there is a huge backlog of the migrant and the refugees which are due to COVID-19 are not coming. My advice to them is to get prepared, means to get prepared on the language side, collect your document, and also get some sort of online information about workplace communication, workplace culture, connect to the community in the field of your expertise in Canada. But that was pre-arrival, and I gave this advocacy. I do that for the government of Canada to give them some orientation on pre-arrival. Once they are coming to Canada, and then the job started, that they again to have to, after the what we call it the honeymoon and shock stage, they have to go what they call it managed by walking, means try to first of all organize their document and then to do sort of what I call it credential assessment, and then after that learn some more language and connect with network with people who are in the same field or family, relative, and other people, and then walk. If not, now walking is not allowed to stay at home, but connect with the people from the same field by through computer and all other official site. Get some orientation, and there are hidden job, and understand that applying with one resume for 100 job is not working in Canada. So get your resume, adapt your resume according to the need of the job, and apply, and you will be getting the job.
Oh, excellent tips. That's great. Willow, anything you'd like to add to this? To what?
I just absolutely agree. One of the most important things is having your documents and your transcripts and having those assessed through WES, which is World Education Services, and realizing that that's something you're going to have to do and have assessed for Canadian equivalency in a lot of occupations before you're going to be able to practice here in Canada. So having that all lined up before coming here is so crucial for the transition. Yeah.
Excellent. So if you're just joining, my name is Mark Belaish. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. I'm joined by Willow Iorga, employment instructor at YES program in Regina, Saskatchewan, part of the Regina Open Door Society, and Dr. Roohullah Shabon, professor at Seneca College, mentor at TRIEC, which is the Toronto Region Employment Council. So Willow, we were talking before about mental health, isolation. Obviously, it's a big issue in many scenarios. You've got somebody maybe new to Canada who's come on. They're more isolated. They can't go out traditionally. Maybe go to shows, job fairs, etc. What would you suggest? Do you have any recommendations, tips that someone can take away?
I think I fully agree with you what you say, that already newcomers who are coming are isolated. Isolated in the sense from connecting or social support we had back home. They are feeling isolation, but COVID-19 make it worse. And they are especially when they have no connectivity with other people and they're being safe to stay at home. At the moment, they just want to explore the world of opportunity for them. So my advice to them is that don't get the stress and disappointed. Still, there is a way of connecting with the people. Create your network, simple network. Create your LinkedIn and just go through other social media, job search, job supporting agencies like yourself, or the most important, because for newcomers without job, I think they will not have housing, they will not have healthcare. And then also get to the orientation, settlement agencies which provide orientation. And then start working with your credential if you have not done it before. And do assessment of credential. There are a lot of agencies that providing WES, World Higher Education Service, and others are providing. And also know your right. I would say that is a very important thing, because a lot of newcomers are coming here being stigmatized, being discriminated. And when they come to Canada, they take it as a normal. So know your right to not be discriminated, whether it's housing, whether it's a job, whether it's healthcare. And that is very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. How about you? Anything else, Willow, from mental health, isolation, any other suggestions?
Yeah, like he said, I know my students just in general always struggle coming to a new country, coming to a new city. Like it's very hard socially, and not having maybe the social or the family network anymore. It's hard for everyone, and COVID has totally made it so much more difficult. So something my class obviously teaches employment skills and work experience and everything, but another really important thing about my class that I think is just as beneficial is my students are able to connect with each other. They're able to make friendships. So accessing these programs, it's not just to learn the skills, which obviously are very beneficial, but it's also just to meet other people. So there is these programs, and I know they all make WhatsApp groups, and lots of them have been friends for years after these programs. So joining these programs, you can be social, you can meet people who are experiencing the same things as you, and start making that friendship network. Another thing I asked, my managers are both from other countries originally, so I asked them what they did, and they said they would really suggest finding Facebook groups. So whatever community you're in, there's different Facebook groups based on maybe where you're from or what your faith is, or even just interests, right? So there's so many great online groups that you can join to try and find those social connections, because learning the employment skills and doing all these things that you need to do to get into the labor market, that's one side of it. But if you don't have like a social network or friends, it makes it so much harder to succeed. So
that's great.
Yeah, I just want to add one more thing. Majority of the newcomers who are coming from countries which mental health has been stigmatized, and they've been also having internalized those stigma, and they are afraid of going for more access to career, so to support and care. So we would need to help with them and say that, okay, it's okay, there are help available, and then work with them with a passion and with empathy, so that they understand that they will not be labeled, they will not be stigmatized, because Canada is a different environment. There is also access, providing them access to the care, health promotion, and networking. And that will give them a lot of relief from the situation they are in.
Yeah. So how would, and by the way, if you're watching and you have a question for Willow or Dr. Roohullah, feel free to put them in the stage or the event chat, and I'll ask the panel. Feel free to ask anything you want to know. So, Dr. Roohullah, how can someone use speaking another language to their advantage when they're here or before they come to Canada?
I think that is also a very important point, because a lot of people are feeling more comfortable if they have been taught with their own language, of the home country they have. And I have, from my experiences, a lot of clients which I'm talking with them, they are more comfortable if I can talk with their own language. And luckily, I know about 5 languages, and that language has a lot of good sort of opportunity for them to trust the person and to open and to talk to them.
Excellent. So, Willow, with the sessions, can someone register? These are free programs, right? That someone can get. Do they have to pay? Not pay?
Yeah. So all of the programs are free, but the programs that we run that have work placements attached to them, there's actually an application process and a screening process, and we have a set number of seats, and sometimes it's pretty competitive getting into these programs. My program specifically is paid, so the participants are paid for the classroom time and the work placement time through Service Canada. So there's a pretty stringent screening process to get in, but all of our programs are technically free, yes.
And would that be generally across Canada, like for the different locations?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. And Dr. Roohullah, over to you. And we have about 5 minutes left here. So what would you say to, I've heard this many years of being in recruiting for over 25 years now. I'm sure you've heard it many times at your work at TRIEC. What do you say? What should people respond to if they say, well, you don't have Canadian work experience? What should they say? What should they do?
First of all, based off human rights Ontario, you cannot ask somebody from Canadian experiences. That's a way of discrimination, I must say. If you have experience and you have proof of document that you have experience, that is enough. I mean, that's what I should say. 2013, Right Ontario declared that nobody can ask you from Canadian experience, because a lot of people has been discriminated based on Canadian experiences. And a lot of them are coming to me and say, Shabon, if they don't give me the opportunity to start working, how can I get Canadian experience? So I don't give it an entry job. So I would say, no right, and nobody can ask you to do that. But if you have experience, show them, recommend them that you have experience. And that's it. That I would say.
Excellent. Willow, you must hear that all the time too. People ask you.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I say for that is I really recommend volunteering. So if you're volunteering in the community, there's so many organizations that accept volunteers. You can kind of decide how much or how little you want to volunteer. You're able to put that on your resume as local experience. You're also able to get references from volunteering, and then you're also able to start networking in that volunteering capacity. It could be social, or it could just be for employment reasons also. So I always recommend volunteering, number one. And then programs like mine or other ones where there is a work placement component attached to it can be really helpful. And you're absolutely right. I teach in my class when we do interview skills and mock interviews, there's certain questions that they're not allowed to ask, but it still happens. And it's unfortunate, definitely, because just because someone has international work experience doesn't mean it's any less experience than here. But yeah, that's kind of a barrier that people run into with employers all the time. So I do recommend volunteering. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I also say to some of my student or some of my client that start an entry job, because some of them are coming from higher position, feeling to go to the lower position. I say an entry job because they are telling me I have to bring food on the table for my family, so I have to have a job. So I go to the entry position, and within 3 months you will prove yourself and you go where you will wish.
Excellent. And we just have a couple minutes here. So Dr. Roohullah, how can someone get more information about TRIEC? How can they reach you? What would you suggest someone does if they wanted to get more information?
I think TRIEC has a very extensive information and website that for any newcomer, highly educated, skilled, I would recommend them to go to TRIEC, and they will give them to the people like myself or anybody else to help them. And people can use my LinkedIn. I think the best one I can say, put my name, full name, and get a LinkedIn and connect with me. And of course, through LinkedIn, they can do chat, email, and anything they would like. And I'm very much available to help people who are really need help, especially the newcomers. And I've done it for all my life, so I'll do it.
Terrific. That's really great that you're doing that. So it's TRIEC.ca is the website. T like Tom, RIEC.ca stands for Toronto. Toronto Region Employment Council, TRIEC. 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 Well, that's great. Thanks very much, Dr. Roohullah. And Willow, how about you? How can someone get hold of you? They want more information.
Okay, so my organization's website is rods.sk.ca, and they can register for services through the website, or there's our contact information on there. So they would just register with the employment services, and then from there they would get referred to my program.
Okay. For both of you, do you have to be in, like Willow, does someone have to be in Regina or Saskatchewan to benefit from the services? And same with Dr. Roohullah, does somebody have to be in Toronto, GTA, or where, you know?
Well, for me, I would also say that if any newcomer want to upgrade their skills and knowledge and experiences and upgrade their education, Seneca is the best site I can see, because 10 years I'm working there. So Seneca.ca. SenecaCollege.ca is the site they can go, and they have got many streams that you can work on the social work, technology, and other. And for sure, if people can come from any part of Canada, at least I can say it's not confined to Toronto or any.
Terrific. Well, thanks so much to both of you. Willow, Iorga, Employment Instructor at YES Program, Regina, Open Door Society, and Dr. Roohullah, Shabon, Professor at Seneca College, Mentor at TRIEC or TRIEC, Toronto Region Employment Council, TRIEC. Thanks very much for the rest of you for you watching. We have sessions that are still going on for the next 15 minutes or so, and then I'll be back here on the main stage again in about 15 minutes to run panel number 2. And then we also have some networking going on, so make sure to go through there. You can connect with people here at the event, other newcomers, support, etc. And don't forget the expo area where you can connect as well with people and products and services and organizations that can help you if you're a new Canadian or looking to move to Canada as well. So we have about 45 minutes left in the event. Feel free to keep moving around. You're not going to break the platform. Put your name in the event and the stage area. Share your information. Connect with other people. That's what this event is all about. So again, thank you very much, Willow and Dr. Roohullah. And stay right there for a second. And for everybody else, I'll see you hopefully in about 15 minutes or so. Thanks very much for being here.
All right. Thank you.